On today's episode of Chicago Bears Now, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler had an interesting report, nugget, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. Does Ben have a little trick up his sleeve, or a few tricks up his sleeve, pertaining to how he's going to call plays with Caleb now that the season is here? We will dissect that coming up here in just a moment. But I have a challenge for you. We are 96 subscribers away from our next milestone of 128,000 subs. You guys are incredible, whether you're subbed or not. But I know at least 40% of people that watch this show regularly are not subscribed. Change that. Hit that subscribe button. You're already watching us. The analytics tell us so. And it's free. We don't charge a dime. Let's hit 128K before kickoff on Monday night. I would appreciate it. And let's talk a little Ben and Caleb Williams. I'm Harrison Graham. Jeremy Fowler reports that Ben Johnson and the Bears plan on getting a little more creative in terms of the game planning and play calling for Caleb Williams now that the regular season is here. Let's get into the quote that he had via ESPN.com. He said, "Now that we're past the preseason, watch for the Bears to flash some creativity to maximize quarterback Caleb Williams. My sense from people in Chicago is that while head coach Ben Johnson would coach Williams relentlessly on the basics throughout camp, they would eventually play to Williams' strengths, utilizing his mobility and off-platform throwing as an off-script playmaker. Bears fans could see more of that in the regular season." And we've kind of heard this messaging all along. What is the messaging been? What has Ben told us? Declan Doyle reports from people tied to the Bears. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at Caleb. They're going to focus on the fundamentals, the footwork, living in the pocket, throwing the ball on time and on target. And then as you get closer to the season, which obviously they're in game prep mode right now for Minnesota, scale back what you need to scale back and kind of marry up his strengths with what they've tried to have him improve on. That's kind of been the plan all along. So I don't think this should shock anybody. Caleb Williams, the best part of his game coming out of college, and you would still say to now, is his ability to ad-lib and make explosive plays on the move. And the good news is, and we've seen flashes of it in the preseason, is he's improved a lot just with the basics, the fundamentals, the footwork, throwing the ball on time and on target, especially in that Bills game. He looks very, very comfortable. So I think this was always kind of the plan is we're going to throw the kitchen sink at this guy. We're going to challenge him. We're going to coach him hard on the basics of the quarterback stuff. You don't want to call it simple stuff, but like pre-snap, making checks at the line, 3, 5, 7-step drops, playing within the pocket. Then, yeah, you're pretty good at this other stuff already. Now that the season's closer, we'll lean into that as part of the plan as well. Some ways that you can lean into Caleb's strengths. Obviously, passing plays and designs that move the pocket. What was the first play against the Bills in that second preseason game, the first game Caleb played in Ben Johnson's offense? Just a little simple boot where Cole Kmet comes in the tight end drag, you just flip it to him. Very easy play. Not something where you have to sit in the pocket and dissect the whole field. Boots, sprint outs, plays where you kind of cut the field in half and you make the reads easier and Caleb can throw or run on the move. I think that's something you'll see more of. I think the quick passing game, which is obviously something that they've been working on for him to improve to play on time and on target, but I more mean like schemed up plays where it's like, hey, 1-2 read. Like you got a slant and like a little slot fade behind it. You just kind of pick the high-low and whatever matchup you like better, get the ball out. Like that's you don't want to call it easy, but that's relatively simple kind of NFL quarterback play. 2 reads within your same eyesight, if you will. Like when you're playing Madden, right? You see these schemes all the time. It's hard to look at the whole field. Oh, I got a slant here and I got a wheel behind it. If they're playing press, I'm probably going to throw the wheel. If not, I'm going to throw the slant to DJ Moore. Stuff like that. And then creative screenplays. Harrison, no more screens. Well, the screen is actually a big part of Ben Johnson's offense, and if you dial them up, if they're creative, if you have receivers willing to block, unlike Keenan Allen, and honestly at times DJ Moore, it sounds like he's bought in. We'll see. We know Zacchaeus is blocked. That was a big thing with Luther Burden. He was blocking his ass off. Those are easy plays that you can generate positive yards offensively and stuff that Caleb should all be able to handle. And the key is this. Marrying up Ben's concepts, which we know work. We've watched it in Detroit for 3 years with Caleb's strengths as a different style of quarterback than Jared Goff. I think all of training camp, all of the offseason was like, hey, how can Caleb Williams improve on the stuff that like a Jared Goff type does? Because Goff can't move. It's like playing on time, getting the ball out, accuracy, all of that stuff, understanding what he's seeing pre-snap, making those checks. That has been kind of the heavy emphasis. But now that the season is here, it's like, okay, which part of that that we've thrown on his plate can we handle? We'll keep that stuff. But also, oh, here's this other stuff that we know Caleb can do well. Playing with tempo is another one. That's when Caleb was at his best last year in the fourth quarter, making shit happen and just thinking less, right? When you're playing with tempo, no huddle, it's kind of just get up, go, make a play. Like that's when Caleb was at his best last year. So picking spots where you can play with some tempo throughout the course of a game, I think that's another area that Ben Johnson will lean into. Can't do that all the time because, if you play with tempo and go 3 and out, well, your defense starts to get tired. So it's all about understanding the balance and kind of threading that needle, if you will. And I think that'll be a big, big part of this whole thing. All right, more to discuss when it comes to Caleb and Ben and marrying this thing all up. But first, today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Football is finally here, and I am fired up for some Bears football. Big college football fan as well. Made some money last weekend, hoping to continue that. Shout out to several players that I picked, including Josh Hoover, big-time TCU quarterback. And now I'm ready for the big fellas to get going as well. It's very easy to play Prize Picks as you just pick more or less on stat projections on 2 to 6 player lineups. If you get your lineup right, you can win up to 2,000 times your money. That's right, $10 can turn into 20,000. Prize Picks is also the inventor of the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Okay, 3-player lineup, week 1 style. Caleb Williams, I like him to throw a touchdown, so give me the more on half a touchdown pass. That's a goblin play. Those are pretty easy to hit there, but I'm going to throw that in there. I do think J.J. McCarthy, first career start, throws at least 1 interception, so I'll take the more of half an interception. And then Olamide Zaccheaus, I don't think the national people know how big of a role this guy could play, hammering the more on 20.5 receiving yards. $20 lineup to win $70. Usually it's 5x on a 3-player lineup, but with that goblin pick, a little bit less there, but I still lack it. 3.5x, prizepicks.com/CLNS. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. It's PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Okay, Caleb Williams, I wanted to throw this quote in there from his presser the other day. He said, there's no big plays that necessarily need to be made. We need to go out there and do our job. We need to run our routes at the right depth. We need to hold up in protection. I need to be able to deliver the ball, getting the ball out of my hands and allowing our guys to make plays and be special, which they are. And I think that's something that's been clear in the messaging from Ben Johnson, Declan Doyle, JT Barrett. Like, hey, we know you can make the Superman special plays when needed. But this offense, trust it. It's going to scheme guys open, play on time, play on target, and when you need to do the extracurriculars, when it's time to do that, when you identify a time to do that, yeah, we're going to lean into that as well. But, this offense works. You have the playmakers, and I think Caleb's bought into that. Like, hey, when I was at USC, we didn't have that much talent, especially the year after Jordan Addison. I kind of had to do this shit by myself. You don't need to do that, man. You got DJ Moore. You got Olamide Zaccheaus, who he's built a nice connection with. Rome Odunze, one-on-one, throw up the ball. He's probably going to come up with it more often than not. You got DeAndre Swift out of the backfield. You got 2 good tight ends. Offensive line should be improved. Trust what is being called and what the other 10 guys on the field are doing, and just play within the offense. And then on those occasions when it's time to be special, go be special. Knowing when to create is important. We know he can create. Don't need to do it on half the plays. He shouldn't take 68 sacks this year. He tried to do too much last year. We get it. The coaching was bad. The scheme was bad. How many times when we would look at the all-22 or the overhead angle, it's like, why are 3 receivers within 10 yards of each other? Shout out Shane Waldron. But this offense works. We saw it for 3 years in Detroit. I'm not saying it's the carbon copy offense, but you're going to see guys get schemed open, and it's up to Caleb to deliver the ball. It's up to the protection to hold up, and I think it's going to work. I really, really do. when it comes to this pairing. How confident are you guys in the Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams pairing? Scale it from 1 to 10, 1 being not at all, this is going to suck, 10 being you are extraordinarily confident, no way it fails. Again, I think this will work. I think it's going to be a bumpy ride at times early on. Week 1's a tough challenge against Brian Flores when you blitz the house and, you got to make quick decisions. It's not going to be easy from play to play. But I think we're going to see a strong landing. By the end of this season, I expect the growth to have been notable. I'm not going to say monumental. I'm not going to say historic. I think from what we saw last year, from week 1 to week 18 this year, we will look back and be like, Caleb improved a lot. I do think that he's more comfortable. He's confident. He can be the guy for this football team. These are my stat projections. 66.4% completion, so about a 4% increase. I know they're targeting 70%. You get me 65, 66 plus, I'll be happy. 4,100 yards and change. 26 touchdowns, 11 picks. I'm cool if the picks go up, if the touchdowns go up. Like, be more aggressive at times. 477 rush yards, similar to last year. I do think the Caleb Williams, this is a big part of his game in college, rushing for touchdowns. The fact he had 0 last year, I think they'll utilize that part of his game, and he'll probably just scramble for a couple as well. So that brings it to an even 30 total touchdowns. I think the 4,000-yard curse ends this year. I just think Caleb's too talented. Ben is too good of an offensive mind, and the pieces around Caleb are too good for him to not be a more efficient. I just do not see that being the case. So I think that that 4,000-yard barrier gets shattered finally for the Chicago Bears. And listen, it all starts on Monday night. Vikings a slight favorite as we're filming this right now. Over/under in this one, 43.5 points. So, Vegas basically telling you this is going to be 23-21, 22-21, something like that. So I picked initially 24-21. I'll have my final prediction before kickoff, so be on the lookout for that. I want to hear from you, though. What is your score prediction? Who wins? What is the final score going to be? Bears, Vikings, primetime, Monday night football. It just feels big, doesn't it? Just feels big. Feels big. Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, a lot of storylines in this one. All right. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. That makes you a real one. Don't forget to subscribe on the way out. Let's hit 128,000 subscribers. See you guys soon. Bear down.